Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Health. Please join me. The date is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Please don't call out. Okay, on to the roll call.
Councillor Young,
Here.
Chair Marshall,
Here.
Councillor Fuentes,
Here.
Councillor Little,
Here.
and Councillor Belcott is out, I believe, excused.
Yes, she's excused. Thank you. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
None today.
Thank you. We'll start with a consent agenda, approval of the minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Then seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. And then let's move on to our public hearing, environmental public health fees. Hi, Jeff.
Good morning, Council. Jeff Harbison for the record. I'm the Administrative Services Director for Clark County Public Health. Before you today is the ordinance. This is part of our annual budget process. It's an ordinance to update the environmental public health fee schedule for 2026. A little brief history. We did one-on-ones with you each in June. We've met with industry, the technical advisory committees, technical advisory groups. We then had a work session in July, and this is the outcome of all of those conversations. The ordinance is before you. Next slide, please. Again, the purpose is adoption of the update ordinance. We'll go through quickly the presentation, the background, and then the fee model itself. Next slide. All right, so our fee schedule consists of 135 individual fees in the programs listed on the screen. Our 2 drinking water programs, recreational water safety, which is pools and spas, solid and hazardous waste, our 2 on-site septic permitting programs, operations and maintenance, as well as food safety, which is your food establishments, and then school health and safety. Next slide. All right. I did want to start here by saying that our 2026 budget does include the elimination of 10 positions. We do submit balanced budgets regardless of the situation we're in. Sometimes they're very difficult and challenging. I wanted to point that out because the first bullet on this slide, these fees are calculated to align strictly with projected program expenses, less any offsetting revenues. There's no profit margin built into these, and we don't bloat our fees. You know, I've heard that before. We don't. These fees are strictly based on cost for a balanced budget. So from 2011 to 2018, the program costs were supplemented by County General Fund to cover what were deemed greater good costs. Greater good being any programmatic work that was performed that was not related specifically to the license, the permit, or the fee. Some examples are in the presentation. Complaint investigations around food establishments or residential waste, as well as any outbreak investigations, foodborne illness, waterborne illness. Next slide, please. So the last fee model based on the greater good being subsidized was the 2017-18 biennial budget, and fees were adjusted up by 1.35%. Beginning in 2019, the Board of Health adopted a policy to move back towards full cost recovery for the program. So no longer subsidizing the greater good work with County General Fund. That's why you see some pretty substantial increases 2019, 2020, and 2021. So currently through 2025, we're at the model where all programs except two are at 100% cost recovery. The two programs are drinking water protection and on-site septic permitting, which are at 90%. This allows for nominal funding during times of economic downturn. You'll see 2022 through 2024, the adjustments were fairly moderate. 2025, we had an adjustment of 11.69%. That was a result of the Baker-Tilly salary alignment study. Next slide, please. This brings us to the 2026 proposal, which this is what is in the ordinance before you. For 2026, we are proposing using some department fund balance to mitigate any individual fee from going up more than 5.0%. Of the 135 fees in our fee schedule, 113 of them are scheduled to go up by an average of 12.68%. I'm sorry, 4.68%. And then the remaining are going down, and the ones that are going down an average of just under 13%. If there are any questions, this is the ordinance before you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from council? Did you have a question? Oh, all right. Who wants to go first here?
Okay, just really quickly. So I just wanted to check the 3.08%. That's the overall rate increase.
So that is the increase in revenue. So
Okay.
the increase, the average increase in fees is only 2.03%. That's the
Okay.
average increase in all 135 fees.
And you may not know that answer, but do we know what the previous time period is compared to inflation?
I can tell you that the hourly rate each year, so we calculate a unit-wide hourly rate based on for this fee model. Without the department fund balance subsidy, the hourly rate unit-wide was going up around 16%. So I use that as the bellwether pretty much for the cost increase. I know that with the Me Too grievance and then our employee insurance costs going up, our increase without using the department fund balance to subsidize, it was around a 14% increase.
Yeah, that was kind of a bad question because inflation is more related to goods and rather than
I couldn't tell you about
labor,
inflation.
so.
I can tell you about the cost drivers for these fees.
Okay. No, I wouldn't worry about it. I just my point was I appreciate only 2%. So I think that's well within range on terms of increase compared to what wages have increased over time.
Yeah, part of our budget process is our managers go through their budget process where they ask for controllables, is what we call them: supplies, services, travel. Managers actually reduced their ask. So we've done a good job mitigating human impact in the budget. Despite the 10 positions being eliminated, it could have been far worse.
Okay, great. I appreciate.
Yeah, could you tell us a little bit more about the loss of the 10 positions? What was the cause of that?
So public health on a national level has what I call an unsustainable budget construct. I've been here since 1998, so I've been through a lot of ups and downs. And I'm going to use the same example I've used numerous times. I'm sure many of you have heard this before. When I came here in 1998, our federal maternal child health block grant allocation was $334,110. I know that number, and everyone has heard me say this before. The Clark County portion of that grant today is $334,110. Our revenues at best are stagnant, with the exception of, for example, the fees before you today. Most of our funding is not indexed. Most of our funding is stagnant. We receive a fairly significant portion from the state that began in state fiscal year 2014, just over 1.767 million. It has not changed since state fiscal year 2014. So our costs increase and our revenue is typically flat. And that's not a Clark County problem. That's not a Washington State problem. That is a national problem for public health.
Okay, thanks. And did I see that some of these fees are going down?
Yeah, actually, 20 of our fees are going down an average of 12.96%. Fees are calculated strictly based on the cost of the program and then the time it takes to perform that work. So we update those time estimates using data each cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. And then we're going into a public hearing. And just to remind people, the public hearing is on the public health fees, the environmental public health fees. So please keep your comments to that topic. Has anyone signed up? Okay, we're retrieving the list.
Yes, we have Kimberly Goheen Elbin.
Kimberly, I want to stop you before you start because you're displaying political apparel, promoting a candidate who's running, and there's no electioneering allowed. Public resources cannot be used for electioneering. So you may not, but I'm telling you, you're out of order. You're out of order. I would like you to button your shirt or just step back. You cannot be electioneering. So please step back. Great. Thank you very much.
Chair, for clarification, RCW 42.178.055 prohibits displays of political signs and, in your case, T-shirts in a public hearing room and government building. And the PDC clarifies that. Yeah, it's too bad you did it.
Okay, you're still displaying your political sign. Thank you. Okay, no calling out, please.
Thank you. Kimberly Goheen Elbin, live citizen of Clark County, Washington, USA. So I'm here. I really tell you, I read through this whole thing. I printed it off and everything, and I still do not understand what the fees are for. What I do see is a lot of administration, staff, and activities that what I call is big government. So what is this for? What are these fees for? What are they going to do? I'd like to know. Can he answer during my 3 minutes here? This is our business. I don't understand it, and I'd like to know. What are the fees being used for? Are they for mental health? Are they to help the people that are suffering because of overgrowth here in Clark County? Do you even, I mean, there should be people here at a public hearing, and there never is. It's because they're trying to survive this last 5 years of the pandemic, of a government takeover, of which we're not going to do. So is he going to answer? Do we, the people, get to understand what exactly is happening here with the fee?
There is a list in the
Okay.
presentation of the program.
Yes, and I did read it. I did read it, but it's not really transparent. With that said, again, it's mostly used for administrative and for staff to charge a fee depending on what they're going to do, and then they get paid. But what do the people get? What are we benefiting from this? And I think that's a good question, and I want an answer. Thank you, and God is always good. Amen.
Thank you.
Carmen De Leon.
Yeah, my name is Carmen De Leon. I go by Mello De Leon, and I'm talking about this fee thing. And like this guy said, is he really? I've been here since 1980, and if he's been here since 1998 and hasn't got an increase, I find that troubling because the cost of living has gone up. But I don't understand it myself because I thought we pay taxes and that should cover all of this. So why are there extra fees? And my understanding was that these fees were going to be to the public, but apparently they're just to the county. So like, are we being double taxed here? Because I mean, I know that's job security. That's what all the runaround is all about. I've seen it. I've seen that we need a committee for this, committee for that, and everybody needs a paycheck. And so we better tax the people some more, even though what do we have to show for it? You know, I mean, when it says right here, public hearing on environmental public health fees. Okay, what are we paying taxes for? And is this coming out of your own budget? I mean, really, what are you guys doing here? What are we paying for? Because I thought environmental meant the way that people are being forced, you know, to rely on electronics and all the brainwash that's going on. That's why people aren't here, because they're so distracted, because they pay billions of dollars to make sure everybody has their cable and gets a sufficient brainwash up here. Brainwash starts at age 5 in public schools. You graduate at 18 because you've been successfully brainwashed and incorporated into society. Your reward is you get to buy a car, you get to pay payments. If you do that good, you get to buy a house. So the whole system is designed to make you controlled and obey and pay and don't question and just keep paying the fees. And you're programmed since 5 years old. You better obey, because if you're late or you don't do your work on time, you'll be publicly humiliated, stand in the corner, do whatever, punish you, because you're not accepting the brainwash. You're not doing as you're told. You're not being a follower. You're trained to follow, to be led by the nose, to do what you're told and pay your fees, don't ask questions. Well, guess what? The fluoride in the water is making people stupid. It's calcifying the brain. You want us to pay for that? You know, and down here it says about pregnancy. You know, I was only 10 years old when I saw the special that many women who had aborted babies were haunted by their ghosts afterward. Why do you think I never even considered that when I became pregnant? Like, hell no, nobody's going to haunt me forever. So, I mean, prenatal care should be not murder your baby, and environmental whatever. It should be monitoring the TV and all these electronics. You better have your electronics, because you have to trust in what can fail you. Trust in what can fail you, like the government, you know, and be happy to pay the fee, because you got to pay for the electricity for the government, because, you know, they got to live off all your tax money, and you better do as you're told. Servants.
Thank you.
There's nobody else signed up.
Anyone online?
There's nobody online. I believe that concludes it.
That closes the public hearing. Council, do you have any further questions or comments? And if not, well, I have a question. What is the ordinance number? Do we have that?
2025-0820.
Okay.
Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Just real quick. So Jeff, thank you for this. I do, you know, some of the comments did generate a thought to me. And that is, I think we just get so busy in the work sometimes that we stop to think about some of the documentation and ideas that we bring up during the council meeting. I don't think it's an issue of transparency. I think it's an issue of efficiency. And sometimes we forget we got to slow down a little bit. So I do think in the future, it would be a good idea to include some of the information about the activities that are conducted using these permit fee or these fees. But if you could take just the first two, food safety, school health and safety, and just really quick give a good example of what those fees are used for.
Yeah, I believe we have program managers for those programs joining us online. I could speak at a high level. I do want to say that the fees that are in this ordinance, this is mandated work in state code, I believe. Dr. Melnick?
Just for an example, our food safety program, those are the activities involved in inspecting food establishments. So guaranteeing that we have, well, there's no guarantee, but ensuring that we have safe food. So for example, inspecting restaurants and looking at things like hand washing facilities and looking at things like how foods are temperature controlled, temperatures of foods, looking to make sure that there's no evidence of cross-contamination. I mean, the food safety program is designed to make our food as safe as possible. So then when we go out and eat, we can have some assurance that the conditions are safe. And when there is, and Jeff was talking about the greater good, when there is a foodborne outbreak, we go out and investigate the foodborne outbreak, find out what the cause is. In some cases, we actually, if we identify a particular food, we do a trace back to see where that food came from. So not only does it protect our community, but can protect the broader population as well. Hope that helps.
Yes, and maybe just school health and safety.
Yeah, the school health and safety, they look at the food facilities as well as playground safety, I believe, as well. And our staff can probably give you like the playground equipment and stuff, make sure that the environment is safe for kids.
Great. And just kind of just illustrating a point, we just, you guys do exceptional work in the community. And I think once in a while, it's a good thing for you to broadcast those things that you're doing to keep our community safe. But I appreciate the comment. Sometimes we just get so busy doing the work that we miss some of those little fine details, but I appreciate those answers.
Just to give you an illustration, a few years ago, we had you hearing me okay? We had an outbreak of salmonella at a local restaurant with 120 cases of people with salmonella infection that we not only identified, we actually worked to control that outbreak. So.
And I know a lot of this has also been discussed in prior work sessions and things. So we capture that information. We just don't really think about it, but the public may not see all those meetings. So it would be good to have that information available in the future, even if it's just maybe attached to the documents. Thank you very much.
I wonder if any of the program people had anything that they wanted to add. I know a couple people came online. Yeah, Jerry?
I was just going to add a little bit to the schools program that Alan mentioned. And I just went on one of these inspections myself with one of our staff. We went into, they have, shops for cars, for woodworking, just ensuring the safety that's there is another thing we do as well. Even for sound, for, students' ears in music rooms, things like that.
Great. Thank you for elaborating on that. Things we wouldn't automatically think about. Okay. Thanks for that question. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-0820.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is this roll call? Okay. Look, I caught that in advance. Good. Let's do the roll call.
Counselor Young,
Aye.
Chair Marshall,
Aye.
Counselor Fuentes,
Aye.
Counselor Little.
Okay. Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you very much, Jeff. Okay. Moving on.